Sup shitters, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SP Reviews, where today I am feeling incredibly weird about not wearing my usual headphones. I'm wearing these earbuds and it's weird to sort of talk with them in my ear like this. It's kind of weird. I'm used to having big old earmuffs. We're gonna be we're gonna be listening to an upcoming album by an artist named Leonardo Badaducci. Leonardo Badaducci. Yeah, there we go. Leonardo Badaducci. I think that's how you say it. And this is called For Your Consideration. So if we switch over to here, we've got 9 tracks, starting with self-titled For Your Consideration, a minute long. This should be interesting. We're going to listen to it from start to finish, and we're going to hear what we think. I'm liking that piano work there. Oh.
I don't know. I think people want to assume that I want to be considered as a singer or a person with great vocals. I want to be considered as a songwriter, an artist, a person. When you listen to my music, you hear my emotions. You know, when you hear my voice coming through your speakers, that is an experience that I've went through. Lying here as the breeze of the fan caresses my melanated skin. The distant moonlight illuminates the room, while the melodies of melancholy strings, pianos, and vocals resound the memory of lost love.
Excellent. So like in this opening section, we're sort of touching upon like the concept of just that one sort of element of the entire musical process. You've got the whole entire picture where like someone's not only just singing, they are a musician. They're adding that color to everything. Their direction, their story to tell, the emotions affiliated with it. It's very meaningful, and you don't just want to say someone, oh, that person's just a rapper or just a singer. You know, I can get behind that messaging there. It makes a lot of sense and is very clear. Like the piano getting into the strings, kind of syncing with what's being sort of talked about in the lyrics. It's all very touching, very heartfelt, very believable in terms of you can sort of very easy to vibe with, very sort of soothing and calming. It's like you want to hear more, and I get the impression that Leonardo Badaducci kind of considers himself sort of in the same ballpark, where Leonardo wants to be considered as more than just a vocalist. They want to be considered as like a person who like music is just a huge part of their life, and they want to make a positive change in the world.
For your consideration.
Hey, it's uplifting, incredibly captivating, and I think I have a feeling I'm going to thoroughly enjoy it if this much thought has been put into it already. Oh. I'm liking that kind of glitchy kind of petty synth. Oh? No matter what, by the way, I'll go through each of these tracks one by one. Kind of going for more of a contemporary kind of hip-hop vibe with this. I like how minimalist the intro is without there being too much expanse. Like, the vocals come in a way that's nice and strong. I got a lot of love for the way it's been approached. Some filtered drums there, cool. Nice groove with those kicks. Cool, I'm loving it. I'm loving the wholesomeness of this. There's a certain kind of warmth to it. The story of talking about how like no matter what happens, they'll be together. The love will stand, you know, not to care about anyone else thinks no matter what. I adore it. I think for your consideration to go on to this, it's like consider the fact that I love you and that you're really important to me. That bass is, it's like getting a massage on the eardrums, isn't it? Now that's an interesting kind of vocal process they've got on that chain at the moment. There's like a nice kind of vibrato to it. I can't tell what exactly they've done to that, but I really dig it. It's like a very, very, very It's like a vocoder or something like that. Or is it just his natural vocal tone? He's just got a really good vibrato on him. It could just be a really strong vibrato.
They just hating cause they not us. Ayo, I got bad bitches and Lamborghinis, no fuss, cause on the streaming game, you time what you playing. No time for you flaking, Briscoe and skating. I'm a down nigga, you done missed your shot. Woo, why you hating? 600 for a verse, you ain't even popular. Beef ain't what I'm cooking, but if you want spell, I look at, I got money in the bank. Shorty, what you think? Why you sit mad when you can pour another drink?
So is this kind of talking about why they should be together, the kind of clout that they have, you know, the bitches in the Lamborghini, that kind of stuff, you know, that kind of confidence within themselves. You know, I think that's kind of cool. It's a nice little sort of development and extra angle to already had.
Have a bad day, you can come to me. I'll make it better. When I'm with you, time is limitless. We have forever.
Very wholesome though, isn't it? At least during the chorus.
They say about us, they just hating cause they not us. No matter what.
Yeah, there's like very careful like automation with the panning and stuff like that. There's like careful attention as well to the way dynamic range affects the overall sound of the track. I adore what's been done here. I think it's really clever stuff. I think there's been a lot of consideration put into exactly how to gain stage everything and make certain parts of it stand up. That repeater. Oh, of course. That was interesting. Having that, it was kind of sort of like a mild kind of. It was enough of a shake-up to keep it refreshed and interesting. I wasn't expecting another hook after that. And really, when you've got another 20, 30 seconds of a song going, you could. But I think that's just testament to the fact that Leonardo has got something really special going on here. There's a nice bit of sub-bass to that kick. But it's nice and tidy, you know, it's not too overpowering. Oh. Wow, that was a high. So, like, Leonardo can obviously sing very well. And also can rap incredibly well. So, like, I'm really appreciating the talent on display here in regards to this musician. I think that the kind of the bass, the 808 bass kicky bit, you know, like the kind of glitchy kind of brum, 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 like those little plucks there. Was there anything else in here? Like, what other instruments were there? There's like an arpeggiator in the background, like a sequencer or something like that. Yeah, there was like a lo-fi kind of synthy thing with those plucks. Yeah, I think that's it. So there's not a whole lot of different ingredients going in regards to it. The focus is obviously more on the vocals, but I think that makes sense in regards to this music and what they're going for. I just love that little bit of high end at the end. Wow, crazy, dude. That was a high rise right there, man. That's sick. No matter what, made a lot of sense for you. Consideration make a lot of sense. Really clever sort of. Have I said clever a lot? Like, I like that we're thinking about the titles and making them directly relate. You might think that's an obvious thing, but I've been reviewing for a while and it's not always the case. Why does it hurt? Oh, triplet groove to this. That sort of sequence of there. Kind of like a clocky kind of thing with claps, right? Slow rise.
Sweet red wine, all November. Christmas comes and you with her. I could fucking kill her. Springtime comes and now you're getting married. Riddle me this. Why did you leave me all alone? The worst part of breaking up is them becoming the love that you needed for someone other than you.
Holy crap, that's incredibly catchy. I dig it. I love how different it is to no matter what. Really, this just appears to me to like be a showcase of the different sort of ingredients that make this artist special. Maybe their various influences and all that. Nice sidechain kicks there. Pumps nicely without being too overbearing.
God, was it fucking hurt? The worst part of breaking up is them becoming the love that you needed for someone other than you. God, was it fucking hurt? They're giving you love and
Have we even sidechained the vocals to the kick? I mean, it would make sense, but like...
They send me to rehab, cause your love's a drug, and you got me fainting, wanting and needing.
So like, listening to her because love is a drug, and they were talking about the person getting married and stuff like that. Have they moved on and found someone else to love, and this is kind of coping with that?
Can I let you go? You are the one.
Oh, I get it, and the clock is like the time passing, trying to find ways to deal with the pain, right?
Doing me wrong late night. You drive me crazy, baby. Sweet red wine.
Again, you've got like maybe 2 or 3, 4 different instruments max at a time.
Christmas comes and you hit her.
Various vocal overdubs though.
Springtime comes and now you're getting married. So riddle me this. Why did you leave me all alone? The worst part of breaking up is them becoming the lover you needed.
I love that. I like how fresh that is. I love the life and vivacious nature of it. It's colorful. It's adorable. It's like kind of soldiering on despite the grueling conditions.
Someone other than you. God wasn't fucking hurt. They're giving you loving away. The loving you need is someone who don't deserve it. But why does it hurt? God wasn't fucking hurt. The worst part of breaking up is them becoming the lover you needed for someone other than you. God wasn't fucking hurt. They're giving you loving away. The loving you need is someone who don't deserve it. But why does it hurt?
Again, no quarter, no groove on the kick just keeps things. Why does it hurt?
God wasn't fucking hurt. If I would've known that being with
Nice
you
break.
was the worst thing I caused, would've left you alone. But why does it fucking hurt? I was down on my knees, begging you please love me right. Now that bitch get to reap the man I made you. The worst part of breaking up is them becoming the lover you needed for some.
Yeah, just this little like kind of fade part, this kind of free bit without those kicks. I think it's nice to have that little shake up at the end. We already know how heavy it can go.
Someone other than you.
A little bit of development in that previous interlude.
Giving you loving away, the loving you need is someone who don't deserve it. But why does it hurt?
I love that we're not just always having you know? Oh, filter work.
Someone other than you.
Got low pass going.
They're giving you loving away, the loving you need is someone who don't deserve it. But why does it hurt? God wasn't fucking hurt.
Oh, that was cool. I thought that was going to build back up again, but no, this is 3 minutes 11. Like, there's another thing, right? We're not going for like odysseys or anything like that. We're going for like 3-4 minute tracks. Nice and short, trying to stick within that single realm. Keep everyone a banger, you know what I mean? Dope. Sick. Okay, I get what every song is about, and that's really important. I'm understanding there's a common theme here. So showing the different sides of himself as a human being as well as a musician. So it's nice. We've got Moonlight next, number 4. Ooh. More lo-fi kind of elements here. I dig it, man.
As the moonlight takes over the day.
I think I'm more of an R&B kind of modern sort of, yeah, but EDM elements as well.
Can't wait to fulfill our destiny.
Ooh, that's a funky low bass.
Cruising slow, but we take
Like a
the
blockish kind of one.
Oh, sit right here in space. What a lovely day.
I can do this because I have earbuds in. I can't usually do that.
We can take a long walk, run apart at the dark. Let the moonlight light our way. I'm so
There's like a nice use of dynamic range there, like, and I'm glad that the vocals haven't been pushed too hard. Like, regardless of the overdubs and everything like that, there's enough for him to sort of sit there and do the quiet notes. So you know there's been careful sort of treatment of it on the mastering chain. But like, you know,
hand in hand, kiss on cheeks. I'm so lucky, babe.
we're gonna like extended chords.
To me, I feel like I'm floating.
Nightclub kind of vibe.
Now that you give it to me, now that you give it to me,
More of a, yeah, nightclub vibe.
I've been waiting.
Makes sense for Moonlight.
Now that you give it to me, now that you give it to me. In the afternoon lingerie,
So polished.
your kiss control.
Like even that like little bit at the end with just those 2 repeats going back into the verse, like that's good use of space.
Phones on silent, I may be high off your loving, baby, but it's nice to see. Glad I know you. Let's ride this way, cause we on a new tempo, flying high, won't come down, drug runs through my veins. Your love is uncontrollably denying all my pain. In the morning rain, my fears erase. I won't be the same. I'm so lucky, babe. Hand in hand, kiss some cheeks. I'm so lucky, babe.
Oh, we're running this main sort of route now.
I feel like I'm floating on air. Now that you give it to me.
You are already running that one note. We got different, like, one rope kind of main bass line. Kind of like it's a reasonably simple kind of vocal melody, but the theme is repeated well and just is so effective because of that. It sits so well on top of the minimalist kind of bass line. Bum, 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 bum. Wah, wah, wah. Love it. Again, more filter work. Great way to change it up without over exaggerating, you know? I'm glad we're hearing more of these kind of clean kind of vocals like this. Guys, pipes. Yeah, that kind of... I wonder what we're doing with those vocals here. That's cool. Dude, so classy. Such a really classy album. I look forward to where Leonardo Badaducci goes in future. I really hope I'm pronouncing that correctly now. It would suck otherwise. You know, like Moonlight does kind of sound like you've just met someone and you're wanting to go out with them and just spend the night together and stuff like that. And it's kind of like, imagine the stars with the lights and all that as well. It's really cool. A lot of love for it. The kind of the imagery put forward by the music there, you know, it's imagine what it's about. It's fairly easy to connect the dots. So we got Leonardo Badaducci. Sorry, my headphones kind of messed up a little bit. When you are connected to your phone, the audio will just stop working whenever you get a notification. So if you're listening on your PC and you got to connect it to your phone, the audio on the computer will just stop whenever you get one. So I've just turned that off. So we're going to start that again. Sorry about that. Scars on my heart. Really have enjoyed this music today. Gonna have to edit that somehow. Oh, it's incredibly emotive, isn't it? Lush. So there's a sense of darkness to it. Again, it suits the title.
It's a roller coaster, falling for you, babe. It's more down than ups. I still have faith in us. Should I let it go? We'll cry to the end. Wish that you saw us through these eyes of mine. All in a moment. Here we go fighting about what I swear is nothing.
I'm loving the intensity of the kicks as well as the kind of like modulator, kind of more of that lo-fi elements in there. It works together incredibly well. It's beautiful. I have a lot of love for what they've managed to create here with this and the mood that it invokes. And it's just so stylistically cohesive.
I wanna love you, but you push me away. Moment, you holding me tight. Swearing that you don't wanna let me go, but you let these scars on my hide.
Oh.
I can't trust another.
Is that a bass?
Another breaks me from the sky.
Is that like a distorted bass or something like that? Because I love it. I love how it's working with the kicks. I love how it undercuts the vocals in a way that sort of gives the vocals plenty of room to breathe.
Got me feeling, wanting, needing. What can't you see?
Very, very noughties production, you know? Like 2010s production.
What can't you see?
16th note groove on the hi-hats. Dig it.
What can't you see? So why, when life is on your mind, you push me aside.
And that little drop in the overall intensity and energy levels is very important. You have that hook on boom, 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 da 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 da. Then you drop it a little bit. You need to have that give and take. You need to have that to and fro.
Like I'm not down to ride, and why When I get close to you, I'm not worth loving you. I want the best for you, cause it's all in the moment.
Okay, so Scars on My
We
Heart.
go fighting about what I swear it's not.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm gonna be right back. Cool. Sorry about that. I just wanted to confirm that I had the track list correct. So like, because there's been an interesting development here. Like, I've noticed that with No Matter What and Why Does It Hurt? Like, No Matter What is like, like we're gonna get through it no matter what happens. And then with the next track is, oh, we're getting married now. And then Moonlight, you find a person at night, and like you're enjoying your time together. So is that a different person? Is that the same person that was like involved in Why Does It Hurt and No Matter What? And then we got Scars on My Heart. Is this just a tumultuous tale of like one romance, or like is it multiple ones? I've got questions about this,
I want to love you and you push me away, baby. You holding me tight, swearing that you don't want to let me go. Hey yo, I'm a bad bitch, I'm a bad bitch. Said it many times that you believe it, but you put me down, you never come around in my ugly door. Fuck that, you a silly hoe. I'm a bad
Hey, nice having those whispers like that. That's cool, dope.
mixed with a bad bitch. Got all these hoes on my dick, I can't lose for winning. But you let these scars on my heart.
Oh, I get it.
Can't trust another woman, my lover. Another breaks me from the start. You got me fiending, wanting, needing. What can't you see?
All right, kind of like you got a new wave kind of disco kind of like new house. I don't know how to describe this music. It's incredibly interesting. It's very sort of contemporary. It's like it's a little bit risque, which I appreciate. It's Scars in the House, a song about kind of dealing with the fact that this person, no matter what you had, has just made it so that you're unable to move on beyond that, a really toxic relationship. You can't even enjoy all those people, man. The delivery is very soft, isn't it? French.
But you let these scars on my heart.
I wonder what they were saying in French. My French isn't that good. Oh, these strings. Like, these little developments within a hook are incredibly important. You need to keep them sounding fresh without completely altering the main sort of theme of the hook, because if you do, then you've just got 3 different sections, don't you? It's Man, I don't know how to feel about this one. This is fascinating. It's a really dope track. It's it makes cohesive sense. The lyrics make sense. Very obviously very, very confident and the range of vocal deliveries. You had some parts there where we were sort of rapping, other parts were obviously singing, and other parts were even sort of like whispering into the mic, and like the production again is on point. Like, I cannot state enough how professional this sounds. It's going to be fun to see where Leonardo goes with this and who sort of he manages to reach with it. I'm just trying to sort of figure out how these link together as a part of the record. Because part of the reason why I stopped before as well is I was wondering like why 7 is the 8th track. And so I was tripping really hard. I was like, wait, why is that the case? But apparently it is. And it's cool. Don't get me wrong. I don't have an issue with it. It could be the 7th after For Your Consideration. Do you know what I mean? But Scars on My Heart was a very sort of mature take on the whole like toxic relationship thing. The strings were very gentle. The bass was thumping the whole time. Had a great groove with it with the drums, and it was just a good all-round experience. A lot of love for it. We got Who Is now.
Who is Leonardo Badaducci? I would say he's the emotion. He's that boy, he's that girl, he's that man, he's that woman that has been through a lot, and he wants to get it out. I remember my first time writing my very, very, very first song with a friend, and we wanted to talk about true love. It never got released, and then I wrote several songs after that I sent to labels, artists, and I went above and beyond because I just wanted someone to sing these lyrics. And it took me sitting back one day and was like, well, who better to sing the lyrics that you write than yourself? And I was like, no, I don't want to do that because I want to be considered the greatest songwriter of all times for other artists like Diane Warren. But then it was like, well, bitch, that don't seem to be happening. And I was like, well, hello, it's Leonardo Badaducci.
Dope. I dig it. So this is kind of telling more about it. These are the inner workings of Leonardo, and this is how they roll. This is sort of a raw take into it, which makes sense as to why we're going down sort of the past and former relationships part, sort of connections with people, our feelings. You know, like that is who Leonardo is. Leonardo Badaducci is a human being. Leonardo Badaducci feels things and has had experiences, scars on my heart. And why does it hurt? Obviously not being particularly pleasant ones necessarily, but moonlight and no matter what. I guess that's just that's the beauty of being a musician, is you can express this as eloquently as you want to, and Leonardo is succeeding in this respect. It's good to have these two little interludes to kind of get a kind of like a feel for what it's all about, to gain context for it. I think these would be required to really understand this in its entirety. We got 3 more songs. We got Last Night in LA is the 7th. Guitar line. It's interesting that Leonardo wanted to be the greatest songwriter, because they're a pretty dope musician, to be honest. But I guess you only find that out when you get there.
White shirt, Ford Mustang, top back and wear, hand in hand. It's the sweet love we made on the balcony in LA. Private jets, my boys, your girls. I swear we just met, but this is the best. Cause our love's on fire. I'm your deep desire.
Alright.
Whatever you are.
Going for more sort of like a contemporary rock, kind of R&B, kind of soul kind of vibe to it, eh? It's more of a kind of an angsty kind of experience than the rest of the tracks, but I really adore it. I think having these guitar parts in here really solidifies the angle of not just being a singer or a songwriter, but also like a songwriter, a human being, a musician, etc. Multiple angles to Leonardo. It's nice to have this guitar work here. We're not just relying on kicks and 808s and all that kind of jazz, you know?
Cause our love's on fire. Our kisses feel like rain, and we cannot be tamed. It's our last night in LA. Bring me tequila. I don't know her name, but a kiss like champagne. When she went down on me, I won't come back the same. We ride down Rodeo, and my hands in the air. I feel like I can conquer the world. It's the best feeling I ever had.
Excellent. Really, really fantastic way of delivering the subject matter. It's dope. Really classy. There's a classiness to it. There's a sort of an authenticity to it that I really adore. I think having these sort of more acoustic instruments in here kind of describe the kind of vibe of being out on that in LA for that last night. That kind of final stand, you know, making the most of it. It's sick. It's really cool.
Love's on fire. I'm your deep desire. Whatever you are,
And human attraction.
it's my pleasure to give.
It's my pleasure to give. Well done. Well done.
On fire. Our kisses feel like rain, and we cannot be tamed. It's our last night in LA.
Like, I Love Is On Fire, Kisses Feel Like Rain, clear wordplay there, it makes a lot of sense. You know, it's also, yeah, there's a sort of maturity to it. It's not like crass or kind of seedy or anything like that.
Car chase in Los Angeles looked like pure show
Oh.
business. Even LA police say they've never seen anything like it. Two suspects put the top down on a convertible, sped through the rain, and showed off for bystanders. Carter Evans shows us the joyride that ended with a curtain call and cheers from the audience.
You know, top down on the convertible, that's kind of nuts, but that's almost a funny kind of nuts. But what this guy's doing is really taking low.
In Los Angeles, car chases have become a familiar sight. They seem to happen all the time. But for the
I love how this story is being sold. It's phenomenal. Like, to link it to this, I'm not sure if like Leonardo Badaducci was directly related to what's occurring now.
running from the police turned into a bizarre scene right out of a Hollywood movie.
Whoa! You know, I don't know if this guy is showboating or what he's trying to do right there. Very dangerous situation.
But that was incredibly intriguing. Like, I will say this for Leonardo Badaducci's sort of record here, it is incredibly interesting the entire time. There's a lot of there's no point where there's like any filler or anything like that. Very competent songwriter, knows the audience is kind of time poor a lot of the time and is making the most of what's available. Track it's called 7. Oh, we're going back to the sort of electronic elements.
I'm just sitting up in my room, thinking about you, wondering what she has and what I can do to make you leave your boo, cause she don't deserve you. What about a long drive on a lonely night down 95 to the south side? I know you got a girl and you said you don't cheat, but what about a kiss right here on the cheek? I won't make a fuss, but you need my touch. On a long drive, on a lonely night, down 95 to the south side. I get so jealous knowing how much you love.
Yeah, I'm just kind of taking this in again. Like, it's one of those songs where like I feel as if I could just listen to this without needing to review it. Do you know what I mean? Some music you find sort of plenty of space to sort of comment on stuff, but I don't know, I'm starting to trust Leonardo to know that they just kind of know what they're doing in regards to like the mixing and mastering, all the rest of the elements of the production. It's
knowing that she's creeping with one of your brothers. Love's got you blind and fooled by charm. With my kiss, you're gonna wake from a spell. I got a crush on you. I love me some you. A big crush.
hang on a minute. I'll be right back. Cool. I'm just trying to figure out how this is called 7.
What I gotta do, make you my boo. What I gotta do, make you my boo. What I gotta do, make you my boo. What I gotta do. Now we're all alone.
So this is kind of like more of a kind of, hey, look, I know you're in a relationship, but I actually kind of want you more. So like,
Get your crib, and you telling me that tonight's been the best. It's just what you need in your time of need. She's been tripping and arguing, and life's got you down.
oh, I love it. I adore it. So like maybe there's like that they're in like a completely toxic or unhappy relationship, and it's like, hey, you know what? You don't need any of that. Come stay with me. You know, this is what you want, right?
You come in close and lean
The music,
for a kiss.
the music kind of like sounds kind of sort of like it's sort of embracing you, you know, like it's surrounding you, kind of like a hug. It's clever stuff. The drums are powerful yet like kind of sort of supportive and foundational.
But it's just what I want. With a touch of your hair.
Nice sort of 80s or 90s kind of delay reverb combo on the vocals.
She gon' be jealous knowing how much you love her, knowing that you creeping with a really good lover. Love got you blind, fooled by charm, and with my kiss you gonna wake from a spell. I got a crush on you. I love me some you.
I'm really impressed with how well that bass is coming through. It's like super tight. I don't know if these are these earbuds. Like, I don't know if I'll use them to do more reviews. It's kind of weird. I prefer having my headphones, but you know, like I adore what's been going on. There's a nice bass response to it, and the vocals just sit on top nice and neatly. There's like a softness to these chorus vocals. I like the repetition of the vocal melody as well. Nice use of a repeater as well. Like a freshness, kind of a chorus into it. Like a modulation of the signal path as well on that. Wow. It's clever stuff. I don't know how much Leonardo Badaducci was like involved with this, but like I can imagine like nowadays people completely self-produce, you know? It's really wild what people are capable of. This has been a phenomenal album, man. For your consideration, well done, Leonardo. We got one more track called Baby Please, and then we're sorted to conclusion time, you know? Oh, okay, where are we going with this?
I swear my songs are the same. I just sit here drinking some wine, and then you cross my mind. Wanna be free.
I want to just say, like, this guitar work is just phenomenal. Well done on these arpeggios. They sound beautiful.
From loving you.
Oh, a nice kind of synth coming in there, like an electric keyboard or something like that.
So bad you don't know. I swear I can't feel my soul, baby. Please say
Oh, very subtle bass in there with those kicks. Kind of a waltz with like a triplet groove on those. I called it. I called it. Yeah, 90s music fat. Yeah. I feel those vibes. Again, having those drums fade out, it's a good break. Oh, no, they're staying out. Like, very dreamlike, isn't it?
The things you did for me, so I won't let them say you're crazy. No one can do me like you. I swear I found pain in you, and I fiend for you badly, baby. Please tell me.
Nice bit of vocal fry in some of these bits as well. Oh, there we go. That grit, that sizzle, dude.
Baby, please. Baby, please, please. I'm begging you to stop loving me. I'm begging you to get rid of me. So baby, 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 baby. Say you don't mind.
Oh, wow, this falsetto, dude.
Because when you say that you're through with me, I can move on and be happy, baby. Please say you don't want.
Oh, the falsetto is flitting. That's okay. We don't have to do it all the time.
You wanted him over me, then that's all you had to say, baby. Please.
Right. Okay, that was fascinating. That was an interesting ending to that. Having that finish with that please like that was good because it was just that last call before we go. Baby, please, for your consideration. And it kind of, makes you wonder whether this isn't necessarily something aimed at record labels, but at a certain person, whether this is like talking about a relationship in general, you know, maybe a relationship that kind of had its various ups and downs, you know, like that. It's a tumultuous time where there was forgiveness and amongst the betrayal and all the kind of garbage and all that kind of silliness and all the shenanigans that come with relationships. They can be a real roller coaster ride, as I think most people will understand. And I think in that respect, I'll just take these out actually, because I don't need them in anymore, and they've been in for a while. It's weird talking without headphones over my ears during these conclusions. I don't know if I like it. I don't really like it that much. I like having the headphones on. But it's all right. We'll continue. Effectively, this track has been a lot of. It's been like a masterclass in how I haven't heard of Leonardo Badaducci before. That he may be doing incredibly well for themselves, and I will have to sort of do some research beforehand. I'm going to assume that they're like an independent artist, right? Just, and if I'm wrong, I'll put an edit in this. They may not necessarily be signed. They're just kind of producing their music, and this is kind of like they're kind of one of their big releases. And I think around the second or third track, I fell in love with what was occurring there, and I felt a sort of a sense of like safety and trust towards what was going on. I didn't have sort of any sort of disillusionment with like, oh no, there's gonna be some random resonant frequencies, or one of the instruments is gonna be too high. You know, like there's a real sense of professionalism and decor in the whole thing. It's incredibly impressive, really. I don't think you needed to really have more than 9 tracks within this, including those minute pieces. I think that this was long enough to really sell a vision or a concept, and this, especially as most of it was based on romance and sort of like being enough for someone, I think. I think that it was kind of, this is sort of symbolic of Leonardo's growth as a human being, what they've been through with this person, how they've changed and developed, and how they've gone from this maybe necessarily just taking it for granted to like genuinely be like, look, I understand how much you mean to me. I know that if you tell me to, I can just go. But like, please just communicate, just be open with me, live with me. I think that that's sort of themes that a lot of people will be able to sort of connect with or at least empathize to. And I think this will make this album incredibly accessible for people. I think the combination of that combined, you know, with the sort of the production that's at a quite a high level. And additionally, just the Leonardo's vocals are just phenomenal. You know, I adore the various styles that are implemented here. I think that they were respectful towards the concepts themselves within the tracks. I'm not too much of an expert on vocal technique. I can tell that for the vast majority of the time, Leonardo was comfortably within. Oh, cool. Why? I'm having a rough time today, folks. My nano left panels have just decided that they didn't want to work anymore, so I'm going to have to turn them on again, because that's no good to be able to do videos. I like if I go over to this camera right now, I look like I'm in a horror film or something like that, don't I? There we go, that's better. And now it's too bright, and now I look like I'm being incinerated by the sun. I think I've said what I wanted to say though about this album. For Your Consideration by Leonardo Badaducci. I apologize if it's been a little bit skittish. There's been a few things that have occurred that I needed to sort of edit and clean up, and I'll do that obviously in post, but I've got a lot of love for the talent on display here. Leonardo is a good vocalist. Again, I think that he's in his range most of the time, and there's ornamentation, there's sort of techniques, there's sort of the vibrato and the runs and everything like that. Different types of vocal styles used. They all work well within the conditions of the tracks themselves, and there's been individual care taken to tailor those vocal performances so that they fit along with the rest of the instruments. There's no point where I was like, this doesn't make sense what he's doing with them. I think that this is kind of what you need to be at this point. You need to be this good in order to really make it in the industry. And I think Leonardo will make it somewhere. It all depends on how well Leonardo markets what he's doing, because this is a sensational record, and it would be a shame if this kind of got lost, you know? But I think that if Leonardo is this intelligent about their songwriting as well as sort of like the vocal styles and all that, I'm sure that they'll be able to sort of promote it well. Continue to, because I assume that they've released stuff previously, considering the level they're at, that they'll go talk more with their fans and really go places with it. But that's effectively my review of For Your Consideration by Leonardo Badaducci. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It was great to learn more about Leonardo, sort of their style, and I hope I haven't missed anything. I think I covered most of the different facets of this. I was a little bit confused about the structure of the album, but I think that was just verbatim the way the journey went, and whether or not it was one person or multiple, it's just hopefully it all works out in the end. Hopefully they got the answer. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please do go check out Leonardo's various social medias and I assume like Spotify or SoundCloud or whatever. Stay cool, stay safe, and please also remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. I'll catch you in the next review. Spiderhands up.